Hello, I'm Fabian. We are with Elbc Newsline. Top stories this evening.
I want to urge you to work together across the institution and to create national interest for all personnel.
President Joseph Boyka commissions several government officials, charged them to serve with utmost dignity. 7 indicted past and current government officials face criminal prosecution at Criminal Court C.
Provisions of those two concessions call for the review after 5 years of operations. Total, the 26 is about 16 years.
Maryland County Legislative Caucus calls for review of Maryland oil palm plantation and Kavala rubber plantation agreements away from Liberia. Togo deports Burkina Faso's former president Paul Herring Damimba for plotting to kill his successor. These stories and much more, including sports, the weather report, the news in English and French. But first, news bulletin in Greece. Tao.
President Joseph Boakai has urged newly commissioned officials of government to put national interests above personal ambition. President Boakai admonished the officials to remain united, develop respect for constitutional rule, and avoid institutional rivalry. The Liberian leader was speaking Monday when he commissioned another batch of government officials in Monrovia.
The major leadership by that speeches provided service. Performance matters, accountability matters, results matter.
President Boakai said public service demands time and sacrifice while admonishing them to serve with honesty, sacrifice, compassion, and discipline. The president reiterated government's strong commitment to lead with the highest standards of transparency and accountability. Those commissioned were drawn from the Environmental Protection Agency, Ministry of Mines and Energy, Law and Reform Commission, and the National Bureau of Concession, among others. The newly commissioned Minister of Mines and Energy, Mektunoke Tingban, has vowed to work collaboratively with his team in the discharge of their duties. Speaking at his commissioning ceremony, Minister Tingban emphasized his commitment to upholding the laws and policies governing the ministry, especially under the arrest agenda. He maintained that transparency and fairness will remain a hub for the work they have been appointed to do for the good of the Liberian people.
To discharge the duties and responsibility of the Ministry of Mines and Energy, including my colleagues to the various institutions, those responsibilities that are associated with this position in providing the stewardship is our duty and responsibility as we move forward in lifting this country.
Minister Tingban at the same time outlined plans to enhance revenue collection and ensure sustainable management of the country's natural resources. He also expressed gratitude to President Joseph Boakai for the confidence reposed in him to steer the affairs of the ministry. About 7 indicted officials of the current administration have finally surrendered themselves to Criminal Court C to face criminal prosecution. The indictees are Arthur Masakwe, former Director General Matthew Kotio, Controller Madam Katina Michelle Valley Sano, Isaac Makola, Madam Josephine Yadan, and Mohamed Fofana, all of the Bureau of State Enterprises. They are among other public officials who were indicted by the grand jury of the Montserrat County for allegedly stealing separate amounts ranging from 75,000 United States dollars to half millions Liberian dollars. The indictees are 40 insurer judicial reporter proffered property bond in the tune of 175,000 United States dollars, which prevented their incarceration at the Monrovia Central Prison. LCC Chief Prosecutor Councillor Bobby Livingstone, whose institution is prosecuting these officials, need 3 days to challenge the legal sufficiency of the indictee's bond as provided by law. Our judicial reporter said prior to the defendant being under the jurisdiction of the court, Judge Usman Faika placed a traveling ban on them for leaving the bailiwick of the country. The Maryland Legislative Caucus is calling for the review of the concession agreement of the Maryland oil palm plantation and the Kavala rubber plantation. It followed a petition from residents of Maryland County recently. The chairman of Maryland County Legislative Caucus, Senator Blebo Brown, said provisions of the two concessions call for review after 5 years. Senator Brown disclosed that after 16 years of operations, the concessions have not been reviewed, raising concerns among residents and lawmakers of the county. He noted that the review of the concessions is in the interest of the citizens and the companies as it borders on compliance and in keeping with the law. Criminal Court A has subpoenaed the management of Claho Foundation to appear on Friday, January 23 at the Temple of Justice. The subpoena is an order issued by the court requiring you to appear at a certain time, place, or date to testify about a particular case or issue. The rate, according to our judicial reporter, has compelled the general manager, deputies, and all acting under the authorities of Cloud Foundation to produce copies of the following documents. The following documents to be produced according to the rate include funds received from individuals and institutions of government for the construction of Claho Foundation and those institutions that made donations to the construction of the foundation. The court also asked that amount contributed and presented contributions, their location, telephone numbers, and their addresses. The court follows an inquiry by the Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force, which is examining the source of financing for the project. It also seeks to establish whether the funds used were properly accounted for in keeping with legal and ethical standards. The Claho Foundation is situated in Marshall City, a multi-purpose complex operated by former First Lady Claudia. Is a facility intended to support community and social development initiatives. Jailed NSA agent Peter Bonjala, who is currently in detention at the Monrovia Central Prison, is seeking preliminary examination, Criminal Court E. Preliminary examination, according to our judicial reporter, is a special proceeding that seeks to compel prosecuting lawyers to establish probable cause leading to the offenses against the defendant consistent with Chapter 12, Section 12.2 of the Criminal Procedure Law of Liberia. Suspect Jala's lawyer, Counselor Wifwe Seye, claimed that since his client was arrested on January 12, 2026, and subsequently detained, he is yet to appear in court to plead to his alleged crimes. He further said that they have not been afforded the opportunity to see the evidence upon which the state relies on to charge his client with the alleged commission of such a grievous offense. Counsellors say revealed that legally they did not have the opportunity to request for preliminary examination at the level of the magisterial court because the magisterial court lacks jurisdiction over sexual offense matter. Suspect Jala's lawyer maintained that Criminal Court E is the right forum to hear and determine such application consistent with law. Our judicial reporter said Judge Golda Bona Elliott, assigned judge at Criminal Court E, is expected to assign the matter for hearing in a couple of days for determination. Suspect Peter Bonjala was arrested recently by police officers for sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy. He was charged for gang rape and kidnapping. The government says it is strengthening youth participation in national development by deploying young cadets to key government institutions across the country. The initiative forms part of the government's National Cadet Program. Information Minister Geraldine Pia named National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, Liberia Revenue Authority, and the Environmental Protection Agency as some entities of government where young cadets have been deployed. Others are the Ministries of Justice, Gender, Commerce, and Agriculture, as well as the Monrovia City Corporation. Minister Pia added that other cadets have been assigned counter-based responsibilities. According to him, the initiative is intended to enhance youth involvement while ensuring balanced county representation and government programs. The Ministry of Local Government has begun the implementation process of the amended Local Government Act of 2018. The Ministry of Local Government, which replaces the Internal Affairs Ministry, was amended from the 1972 Liberian Codes of the Law, revised in Chapter 25. Speaking at the news conference Tuesday, the Minister of Local Government, Francis Imali, extolled President Joseph Boakai for his visionary leadership for the 2018 Local Government Act.
The Minister of Local Government is set to begin rolling out the amended Local Government Act and requests the full cooperation and participation of all concerned.
Minister Yumali also praised members of the legislature and other state actors who supported the passage of the amended Local Government Act. The Senate Committee on Public Works and Rural Development has reported significant achievements in 2025. The chair of the committee, Albert Chair, named the ratification of the 255 kilometers road concession worth over 263 million United States dollars, affecting the western and northern regions. The Grand Crew County Senator named the passage of the zoning law, the ongoing shipment of the yellow machines in batches, and the plans for road construction across the country. Senator Chi said, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Works, his committee achieved several milestone developments aimed at improving the country infrastructure sector. He made a statement in plenary Tuesday on Capitol Hill. Information Minister Jeremy McPeer has clarified reports that the 2026 national budget has not been approved. Recently, there are reports that the president, rather than signing the budget, returned the budget to members of the legislature. But addressing the Ministry of Information press briefing Tuesday, Minister Pia disclosed that the national budget was signed by President Joseph Boakai, and it is now a workable instrument for 2026.
That the president returned the budget to the national legislature, which in a way meant that he would have vetoed the budget. The information is not true, and the actual truth is we have an approved national budget for this fiscal year.
Minister Pia said it is a one-year budget that will be used to push the country's national development, including the payment of civil servant salaries. The Information Ministry Board's clarification comes amidst media report that President Joseph Boakai has returned the 2026 national fiscal budget to the legislature. Government is set to reintroduce road maintenance zones across the country as part of a broader strategy to improve road conditions and support economic growth. Information Minister Jeremy McPeer disclosed that the initiative aligns with President Joseph Boakai's call for people-centered infrastructure development. Minister Pia said the plan involves the deployment of new road maintenance machinery to service thousands of kilometers of unpaved roads nationwide.
The reintroduction of the maintenance zone is what informed the purchase of these yellow machines. So we have determined what each zone will constitute.
According to the minister, Liberia currently has more than 13,000 kilometers of unpaved roads, with over 1,500 kilometers already earmarked for machine-based maintenance across 5 regions. He said the road maintenance activities will initially cover 3 counties, including Grand Cape Mount, where 1,639 kilometers are expected to be serviced. Minister Pia noted that the reintroduction of maintenance zones is expected to ensure routine upkeep, reduce road deterioration, and improve access to communities. Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow-Yanti is leading the country's official participation at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. Liberia's presence at the World Economic Forum followed months of sustained engagement and high-level outreach led by the Foreign Ministry to secure Liberia's entry into the world's premier economic platform. Liberia's delegation includes Finance Minister Bastenga Kwan and National Investment Commission Chairman Jeff Libo. According to a release, Liberia's participation underscores a coordinated whole-of-government economic diplomatic strategy led by the Foreign Ministry. It said Liberia's engagement at the WEF, sponsored by Foreign Policy magazine and other partners, will feature invitation-only roundtable on the future of Liberia, global partnerships, and economic diplomacy. The 55th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, held under the theme A Spirit of Dialogue, convenes nearly 3,000 participants from over 130 countries. And former Agriculture Minister Dr. Chris Stoll has underscored the relevance of the National Food Assistance Agency amid efforts towards food sustainability in the country. Dr. To expressed readiness to help improve the food assistance activities at the NFAA, especially in critical times. The former agriculture minister made the assertions when he paid a courtesy visit at the office of the NFAA in Thinker. In a statement, Dr. To commended the leadership of the agency for developing strategic policies and plans ahead of project implementations across Liberia. Dr. To emphasized the need for staff capacity strengthening, more stakeholder engagement, and credible supply chain management. In response, NFAA Director General Bwakai Salih thanked Dr. Toll for the visit and assured him of the agency's readiness to work with him.
Crystal and the news.